Oh, you got me there. Happy Resurrection Day. Hope you're well. Today I wanted to share about, I suppose, two things that are really important to me: my faith and the fact that it is World Autism Awareness Month, this month of April, in case you do not know. And my faith is really important to me, and autism because I have a child who's autistic. And lately, I have been wondering if I am also autistic or have some autistic traits. As I learn more about my son and how to help him, I am also learning about my own quirks and starting to wonder maybe, just maybe, I actually also have these traits as well. But that's not the point of today's conversation. Today's conversation is really trying to tie in faith and autism into one in a way that I hope it makes sense. So the other day, I saw this post. I'm 99% certain that I saw this post on Instagram. And this post was, I can't remember the name. It was one of those posts that I saw but has stayed with me. And it was a gentleman who was in a wheelchair, severely disabled, but he spoke about his faith. He spoke about the fact that he asked God for healing and he believed he was healed. But the physical eyes, what we're seeing, right, was someone who was stuck in a wheelchair who clearly it's going to take a whole lot of miracles, not just one, plenty of miracles for him to stand and for him to be able to walk, muscle mass, all that kind of stuff. But there was something that was so clear in this young man's testimony that he shared was that even though he was in a wheelchair, he had faith that he was already healed. And he said something, and I'm paraphrasing because I really can't remember the word for word, but it's the fact that this gentleman, young guy, basically was saying, I may be in this chair, I may not be able to move or do things that someone who is, what we say is able bodied is able to do. But he believed that he was healed and he was already made whole. And that thing stuck with me. It's still with me. I think about it in the times when I'm like, how are you viewing what is going on? I myself has in the last about 3 years now been having sort of back to back health challenges. And there are days that I'm like, man, I just don't want to feel like this. I like this chronic pain. I just need it to go. I'm tired of day in, day out. If it's not fibroid today, it is a lumbar discectomy tomorrow. It's sacroiliac joint issues the next. And I'm like, I need myself to be whole so that I can also help my son who is having his own challenges, and I need to know how to help him. And sometimes it can become quite overwhelming, right? And in those moments, you're like, God, like, I've prayed. And this was me. I was like, I've prayed. Why am I not seeing specific, like the vision I had in my head when I say, I pray for this. So I've prayed for healing. I should not feel pain, but I'm clearly feeling pain. I'm like, I pray for my son to have, not to have, you know, any challenges. But often he still does. Although a testimony to that, he's so much well regulated now, and that is only God. And so, what this gentleman's testimony told me is you can pray for healing, but it doesn't have to look exactly how you think it should. And ever since then, I'm like, okay, I I've thought about it and come to a place of acceptance. Number one, the whole 5 stages of grief. Yeah, it happens in everything else, you know. And I came to a place of acceptance that, what if the whole purpose of my son being said to have, to be autistic, and how he thinks is different, is exactly what he needs to do exactly the purpose that God has created him for. Because my child, he's a great guy. He's great. He's great now, and he's going to be even greater as he grows older. And his mind is really amazing because he will think about things in ways that you're like, didn't think of that. And I remember when he was younger, we used to call him old man because we used to be like, he just seemed so mature for his age. But now we know why. Now we understand. God has given him a different way of thinking on purpose. And sometimes we have to accept that what we may see, and I'm getting a little bit emotional, what we may see as a challenge, God can absolutely use it for something greater. And so when we pray, we should believe that he's already healed. I believe my son's healed, right? He's healed in more ways than I can tell. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a mother trying to do best for her kid. But I know that God is going to use all of this for something so much greater. And I am excited now for my son's future because I know that he's going to go on to do stuff that I don't even know, but it's just going to be great. And so we need to start looking at how we're perhaps looking at how God answers our prayers, right? Because we think that one way has to be the way. But God's way is so different from our way. He uses things in ways that we don't believe, right? He uses he can use anything in a way that we cannot imagine. And so that gentleman in the wheelchair's testimony about saying he has received his healing, you might be thinking that he's still in a chair, but to him, he's like he's free. He's like, I'm. And I remember seeing him go off in his chair in the forest, and I'm just like, hold on a minute, young man. But you see, I get it now. And as it's, Autism Awareness Month, I just wanted to share a different perspective. That what if the whole point of it is that God is going to use that situation, right, for something greater? Now, I'm not saying that in every case there can't be like a whole 360, especially because it's a whole spectrum. There are families who have nonverbal. The everybody has different experiences of autism, ADHD, and everything in between, right? So I'm not watering down the power of God and how he can really turn things around, where you can have a child who maybe was nonverbal become verbal, right? There are layers to all of this. I'm just sharing my own particular experience. My child is verbal, but his triggers are slightly different. As anyone who parents an autistic kid knows, that we all have varying degrees of what could trigger. We have our family similarities, of course, but at the end of the day, each child also has their own peculiarities. And so I just wanted to share, just to give a different perspective, especially for those of us who are Christians, people of faith, and may have struggled or currently struggling with the idea about this whole thing around I've prayed, but I'm not seeing what I think I should be seeing. And so for me, I'll give an example of how God is really turning things around. Now, is the diagnosis still there? Yes. Does he still have certain triggers? Yes. But the triggers are less. He's better regulated. And I believe that is just God, right? He's turning things around in a way that you look at him and you go, in spite of, he's able to do XYZ. In spite of, he's able to do ABCD to Z. And that for me is has given me joy, and I just wanted to share that because I'm sure I'm not alone who, as a parent, person of faith, who has gone through the period where you're saying, but God, I've prayed, but God, I've done XYZ, and you're expecting to see something different. But how about what we really need to change is the fact that we are sort of tunneling God into, or putting how we expect that miracle to be into a box. And we can't put God in a box, right? We can't put how he works in a box. So I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to share that. Um, and I had a note I wrote down. There is a reason greater than what we can see. And if it feels like you're not seeing the change you envision, perhaps it is because God is going to use the situation as it is. So, I hope this has encouraged you as it has encouraged me in the last few months since I think I must have seen this maybe a couple of months ago, but I saw it this 2026 for sure. So I hope today, that is Resurrection Day, that new hope resurrects in you, right? I hope that a change of thoughts, approach, how you see the challenge that you're going through. I hope this brings something new, a new perspective, a renewed hope, even. And just to add that it doesn't have to be just autism related. In my case, I'm sharing particularly about autism. It's World Autism Awareness Month, so I wanted to tie it, put it all in together. But I hope that this encouraged you, um, whether you've been there, you're currently there, you're whatever stage you're in as you walk this journey of whether you're praying for healing in your body, healing for your child, or just praying for some type of breakthrough. What if, what if the whole point of that particular challenge to you, what you're seeing as a challenge, is because God is going to use it exactly as it is? What if? My name is Oluti, and I really hope that you stick around um, on my channel, where as much as possible I would share nuggets of things that I've learned, things that have helped me in my journey as a solo parent, divorced person, going through health challenges, all of that. And also along the line, share just some fun personal blog, although I think I'll put more of like the personal blog thing on my Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram as well. Miss T underscore thinking out loud is the same name as the channel, but most of my reflections, deeper reflections, will be on my YouTube here. So please like, subscribe, um, watch to the end, all of that. That would really help. Thank you so much. I hope you have a blessed day and a fantastic week ahead. Love you.